Hey, it is time for the Pillsbury Bake-Off. Finally, we're going to go way back in history to its roots. Curious? Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome to YesterKitchen. I'm Jill, and I have been studying retro food history and vintage food history for over 30 years. I've taken more cooking classes than I can even count, and I'm the founder of YesterKitchen. So welcome to the kitchen. If you're having fun, please hit that subscribe button. And if you really like the video, please hit that thumbs up. I would really appreciate the support, especially when you pass it on and tell your friends. So today, if you've been following my series, you know that I keep promising Pillsbury Bake-Off. Well, today is the day. We're going to talk about the Pillsbury Bake-Off winner for a particular year, and we are going to learn a classic 1950s dessert, and we're going to make a very easy French silk pie. Learn the recipe. But first, we need to learn about the history. So the Pillsbury Bake-Off. The first year was 1949, and it was created to celebrate the 80th birthday of Pillsbury, and also to promote Pillsbury flour. So Pillsbury decided to create a contest, and if you were going to submit a recipe, it needed to include Pillsbury flour. They got thousands of recipes, and they narrowed it down to 100, and those lucky 100 were invited to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York for the finals. Take a look at this picture. This is the picture of the bake-off with all the ovens and everyone doing their thing. Isn't it classic? I love this picture. And see all the ovens in there? Well, there wasn't enough electricity, so Pillsbury had to borrow electricity from the New York subway system to power all those ovens. I love it. The guest of honor at the first bake-off was none other than Eleanor Roosevelt. She was there to cheer people on, hand out prizes, and just kind of be there as an inspiration. Here's a picture. Here she is handing out a check to a very, very happy winner. Isn't she glorious? And her quote about the bake-off was, "This is a very healthy contest and it is very American." She was right. So that's how it all started. And then the Pillsbury Bake-Off is continuing today. They had a small hiatus in the early 2000s, but they are going strong. And you can find recipe upon recipe upon recipe. So I looked at recipe upon recipe upon recipe, and I landed on one from the third bake-off, 1952, for a French silk chocolate pie. And it was considered revolutionary. I'll tell you why in a minute, but first let's start making this pie. It's so easy, it's so good. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take a half a cup or 1 stick of melted butter. You want softened butter. You cannot make this if it's cold at all. So in goes our butter, and we're gonna mix that with 3/4 cup of sugar. Now we're gonna need our trusty little blender, and you're gonna wanna really blend it until it's creamed well and really smooth. I'm not gonna keep you hanging for all this, so we're gonna speed it up, and I'll be right back when it's all done. Okay, so we're done, and you really want this incorporated well, so I would say give it a good 3 or 4 minutes of really good mixing, and just I don't know, watch TV, sing a song, but really make sure it's mixed. We actually have a lot of mixing components here. So before we get going, let's talk about this pie. This pie is from the 1952 third annual Pillsbury Bake-Off, and here's a picture of the cookbook. Isn't it fabulous? It's just, I mean, look, 25 cents. So these were the little cookbooks back then that they released after every year, and I love them. And so now we're going to talk about the creator of this pie. This pie was brought to us by Mrs. K.E. Cooper of Silver Springs, Maryland. In the 1950s, your name was Mrs. Husband's name. It's just how it was in the 50s, so I don't know her name, but I do know what she looks like. Take a look. Wasn't she beautiful? That is Mrs. K.E. Cooper, and she was so proud of her pie. As a matter of fact, her pie was considered revolutionary. Why? Because it was a no-bake pie, and that just really was brand new. But this is great. I actually made it for my husband, and it's very husband approved. So next, after your butter and cream is all happy and mixed together, you're gonna add 1 ounce square of melted chocolate. This is baking chocolate. You can pick bittersweet or semi-sweet. The recipe does not specify. I tried them both. I like bittersweet. Do what you like. I did about 90 seconds in the microwave. Let's get that butter off of there. And in it goes. And you're gonna just kind of mush it around a bit. And then to that, you're gonna add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And what I like to do is I like to take a little break and get that incorporated. So here we go with the mixing again. Told you there'll be a lot of mixing for this one, but it's worth it. Hey, so Mrs. K.E. Cooper won $1,000 for this pie. And in 1952, $1,000 was worth $9,233.11. That's a lot of money. So people really wanted to get into this contest because this is a big deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 eggs. Now here's where we're gonna take a little bit of time, so I will speed it up. We're gonna add 1 egg, and then you wanna beat it for 5 minutes. You really wanna incorporate these eggs. Then you're gonna add a 2nd egg and beat it for another 5 minutes. It'll go like that for you. It'll be 10 minutes for me. So here we go. We're gonna add 1 egg, which is why I have them in 2 bowls. And here we go, 5 minutes. Start the clock. Okay, 5 minutes was a long time, but as you can see, this batter is really fluffy. And so because we had so much fun, we get to do it all again. So 1 more egg. Oh, stay still. I'll just hold it. 1 more egg, 1 more 5 minutes. But before we do that, oh yeah, this is really important. You want to just kind of scrape around the bowl and get everything down. So in case something was stuck on the edges before, it won't be anymore. Isn't that a cute little trick? Not really, I know. I'm just trying to be entertaining. Okay, so we're gonna go 1 more time. 1 egg, 5 minutes. See you in 5. Okay, we are done. I know it's a lot of blending, but I promise you, don't shortcut that because it makes it light and fluffy. It incorporates and breaks down the sugar, and it just makes for a pie. And why are you going to serve it if it's not good? So you might as well go the extra mile. And why did I pick this particular recipe? Because it's easy. Yes, there's a lot of mixing, but it's easy. You don't even have to bake the thing. I have a really cool one coming up. We're going to revisit Pillsbury, and we're going to make another really cool, really easy one from the 60s. But today we're in 1952, and I cannot seem to put my beater down. Okay, don't mess with the martini. Okay, so now we're gonna take this pie. So here is our gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous filling. And now we're gonna talk about pie crust. I am not gonna make a pie crust. This video would be way too long. And I gotta be honest with you, I didn't do well in pie crust class. So I cheated. I buy the store-bought, already ready to go, put in the pie crust. But I do use my own pie plate, so there's that. So here is my pre-baked crust. Please make sure it is 100% baked through because you're not gonna be baking this pie. So here's my lovely misshapen pie crust. But do me a favor, don't grease your pie plate pan. You don't need to. If you do, sometimes the sides of the pies go slipping and sliding down the side, and then that would be another mess. So just ungreased, lay it in there, pinch, 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 pinch. You're done. Into the oven, 10-12 minutes. You got a pie crust. Let it cool completely, but with all this mixing, it'll have plenty of time to cool. So what we're gonna do, oh, I forgot. First, we must put our pretty, 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 pretty tablecloth out. Okay. There's our pie on our 1950s tablecloth. All you're really gonna do now is you're just gonna take this pie filling and put it in the pie. And that's kind of it. Well, there is one more step. And I'm gonna have to take a shortcut, but don't you take the shortcut because it's not worth it. You're not making a video. So you're gonna take your filling, spread it around, make it oh so pretty. And it is always fair to use your fingers and get the extra out. Okay, now what you're gonna wanna do is you are gonna wanna let this chill for up to 2 hours. An hour would be cutting it, but you want it up to 2 hours. The filling is gonna stiffen up because that butter that you had softened is gonna start to harden in the fridge, but it's not gonna be like you can't cut it. It's gonna be perfect. There's a reason this is a Pillsbury Bake-Off winner. So we have our pie, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little whipped cream on it. But before I do that, let me show you the finished pie that won the $1,000 in 1952. That is her pie. See, she put whipped cream on it. She decorated it with walnut halves, and that earned her $9,233.11. Fabulous. But here I have plain, very, very little sugar. I made my own whipped cream. You can use the aerosol can, you can use the whipped topping in the tub. I just kind of like this because it tastes better. If you want to know what I did to make this whipped cream, it's right there. I'll keep it up for a second. In the meantime, so all we do is I take in my little piping bag and we just kind of make, you can do whatever you want. This is your pie. I don't think Mrs. Cooper would mind. So we kind of like do all the way around. I'm not a big fan of walnuts. So what I decided to do is take slivered almonds. And instead of it on the whipped cream, because I love the whipped cream just the way it is, unless a couple happen to catch, I just kind of do it in between, kind of like abstract. Kind of like abstract art, because we're big on abstract art, right? And there is 1952. This was not the grand champion of the year. This was one of the other, this was the pie contest. She won the pie contest. $1,000, Mrs. K.E. Smith. Look at that pie. Look at that pie. This is gorgeous. And you know what? It is delicious. So give it a try. And I've got a question for you. Tell me about what you love about the Pillsbury Bake-Off. I know what I love. I'd love to hear what you love. There's just decades upon decades of history of this thing. So go find something. Tell me about it. Or even a special recipe. So enjoy the day. Enjoy the pie. And remember, history never tasted so good.